Hey everybody, welcome. So excited to chat with you. We are doing two special things during this little video hour. First of all, I'm going to share with you the January Kindergarten Literacy Club materials. I'm going to show you what all my Literacy Club members get. So whether you are thinking about joining the Literacy Clubs or you have never even heard of the Literacy Clubs, or if you are a member, this can be helpful to you in seeing what all I have for you this month. So I'm going to do, for the first 30 minutes, I'm going to cover the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials. For the second 30 minutes, I am going to cover the first and second grade Literacy Club materials. And somewhere in there, I'm going to do a little gift card giveaway. So I will let you know when that's happening. Let me make sure that I am live and good to go here. All right, looks like we're good. So in order to enter the giveaway, make sure that you get a comment in at some point. So you can ask about the Literacy Club materials, you can just tell me what grade you teach, and then when I actually do the giveaway, I will just scroll through the comments and randomly choose somebody. So looking forward to that. 30 minutes Kindergarten Literacy Club materials, and then another 30 minutes first and second grade. This should be saved to my page when it's over. Fingers crossed everything goes as planned, but make sure to get your comment in. All right, so first and foremost, you may or may not have heard of my literacy clubs, and so let me just kind of explain where the clubs came from and why I originally started them. Hey Vanessa, so glad you're here. Vanessa teaches first grade dual, awesome. So you may know that I have my website, Learning at the Primary Pond, and my TPT store. I now have a phonics program from sounds to spelling, and those are all resources, and I have free blog posts, free webinars, all kinds of things here and there. But what I felt like, this was a couple of years ago, maybe like 3 years ago now, was that I wanted to be able to provide teachers and other educators support on a more ongoing basis that went beyond just like one free webinar or, one TPT resource. And so I am a reading specialist now, and actually I'm the director of curriculum and instruction at my school. But when I was in the classroom teaching kindergarten, first grade, second grade, what I noticed, in addition to needing more support and professional development on an ongoing basis, what I noticed is that there were certain materials that I was looking for day in and day out. Every week when I was planning, I needed texts for small group. I needed lesson plans for small group. I needed independent activities or centers. And no matter how much stuff I thought I had, like year after year, I'm looking for new stuff. And so when I was thinking about creating the literacy clubs, I said to myself, well, like, what if I could just take a chunk of those recurring, like always things that you're looking for off your plate? And so that's how I structure the literacy clubs. You do get the support that I mentioned with, our private Facebook groups, and we have private club webinars, and I'm in those Facebook groups a lot. So when you have questions, ask them in the Facebook group, and I'll jump in, other teachers will jump in. It's just a great place for support. But in addition to the support, this stuff that I'm going to show you is designed to take a chunk of your planning and searching off your plate every single month. So that's what the literacy clubs are all about, because I do get questions, well, how is this, different from TPT? How is this different from your phonics program? I may have other like complete programs in other places, but this is for those things that you're always searching for every week, every month, to just take some of that off your plate. Darlene in the KLC, so glad to have you in the kindergarten club. Awesome. Kindy educator here. Hey Elizabeth, Alicia, awesome, has guided reading. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the kindergarten club materials. If you haven't commented yet, make sure to get your comment in so that I can pull you when I pull names later, and stick around too so that you're here live and you know what to do. First and foremost, kindergarten club materials. So every single month you get at least three, sometimes they give you four as a treat, at least 3 texts for small group, little books for the kids to read. And you get them printable like this, but you also get the digital versions, which is helpful for many teachers who are teaching remotely or some of both. So the texts are all on the same topic more or less, but they're at different levels. So I think maybe this is like the level C, which is a little bit more challenging for kindergarten right now, but I know you probably have some kinders that are at this level. Okay, so we try to get as many sight words and also CVC words in there and VC words as possible. So you get 3 of those, and you also get lesson plans to go with them. Every single month, 3 new books, lesson plans, activities, and you can count on that at the beginning of the month that you're going to get that stuff. So that's one part of the Kindergarten Literacy Club membership. Another part is these independent activities, and this is probably my favorite one from January. So it's help the monsters find their teeth, and these I haven't finished cutting out yet, but you can choose from, that's upside down, you can choose from CVC words for your kids who are reading those. And I also included a more challenging level with blends and digraphs for your kiddos that are a little bit higher. We do try to put materials in the clubs that are at different levels because we know that not all kids in kindergarten are at the same level, and different kindergarten classes are working on different things. So there's 2 levels, right? You can play the CVC words or the blends and digraphs. This is a solo activity. Because of what's going on with the pandemic, the Literacy Club resources are now geared toward no touch, socially distanced centers in case you need to be doing that or in case you need to send packets home. So they are definitely reflecting that. Once this situation is over, hopefully soon, hopefully for next school year, I do love to include partner games and like dramatic play, literacy props, and all kinds of fun things. But right now, we're just kind of dealing with the hand we've been dealt. So anyway, in this little activity, it's basically a sorting game where these are their little teeth, and like rug would go in the U, they have to read it, they have to sort it. And again, there's 2 different levels included. I like to include more than one level whenever we can, just to, give you options. So that's how this works. Very simple. Of course, there's a black and white version as well. If you have a kid who's like super low, maybe you're just having them sort magnetic letters, right? Or maybe you do VC words. You can definitely tweak this even more than what's already given. So I got 2 different levels too. I didn't cut out any of these yet, but blends and digraphs. This is something that no matter what you're doing, just about no matter what kind of center activity you're doing, you can always have a set of little words or a set of pictures or something, same game, different levels. It's a big time saver. All right, so that is one activity. Another one is very simple, straightforward. It's just snowflake memory. This is a good thing to keep in mind for socially distanced centers because one thing that I really miss, I'm not social distancing for centers, I'm actually teaching remotely, but one thing that I really miss this year, and you can let me know in the comments if you're experiencing this too, is I just miss playing games with the kids. And so for the socially distanced centers, we want them to be fun, but still safe, right? So this is memory. You can't really see, it's like a blue snowflake, but they're matching like uppercase or capital to lowercase letters, but kids can play memory by themselves. So something that you can do in any subject area. For this one, of course, they're just going to, put the cards out in rows, and then they pull over 2, see if they match. If they don't, they put them back. So kids can play memory by themselves. So just something to keep in mind for socially distanced centers in general. Now, because of social distancing, I also know that you may not want to cut out a bunch of those sets, or maybe you're sending home packets. So I created these, it's literally just a worksheet, but it's getting at the same skill as, this little memory game, but it's literally just a worksheet. And for right now, do I love lots of worksheets? No, but that's just the hand that we've been dealt. So in the Literacy Club materials, just like with this one, for a lot of the centers, you get more than one option. So yes, you're getting 4 centers or 4 activities, but sometimes it's more like 8 or even more because I do like to have options. So that is hopefully helpful if you're sending home packets. I have a couple of those in there. Here's another game, still keeping the fun in centers, but it's also, the kids can play it by themselves. So the way they play this, if they're playing by themselves, is they put their little counter or whatever on start, or if you have a game piece, and then they have these rhyming pictures, and they will pull one of the cards. So this is Fox, and they actually move to, actually pulled 2 here, accidentally. They move to the square that matches. So Fox, box. So they actually move their little counter, they move it over here. And then they pull another card, and this is Wig. So then they have to move actually back to Pig. So it's a little bit different than a traditional board game, but the kids can play it themselves, and then they win when they pull the picture that rhymes with ham. So again, just a simple way for them to continue playing games, but, have it be socially distanced and safe. Awesome. We got some kindergarten teachers in here. Super good timing. We are talking about kindergarten stuff now, and then in about 20 minutes, 19 minutes, we'll talk about first and second grade stuff. So this rhyming words game is in the January materials for the club. As you're probably noticing, I try to cover like different skills, so capital and lowercase. We've got some word reading. Again, I know that not all kinders are at the same level, and you just kind of tend to need different stuff, different skills, so I like to kind of mix things up and give you different options. All right, the fourth center for this month is actually a class book, and whether you're teaching remotely or in person, you can do this. So the theme of the class book, Mindy's asking, how do I get this? So this is the January club materials, Mindy. So if you're a member, if you're not a member, you can go to the link. Hopefully there should be a link in the post to join the club. And if you are a member, make sure to go to your January 2021 materials inside the club. I'll show you like the digital login to it in a little bit. But anyway, this is another kindergarten literacy club activity for January. And the theme is something new I want to try. You can treat this kind of as like a New Year's resolution type thing. Obviously, not really a resolution, but more appropriate for kids at this age. What's something that they want to try? How are we activating that growth mindset in them? Let me know in the chat if growth mindset is something that you work on with your kiddos, like being open to trying new things, right? So something new I want to try. Each kiddo, love it, Mindy, that's super exciting. Each kiddo gets a page, and this again could be digital. You can send them each their own digital page and then combine it into a PDF and make your digital class book. But of course, if I'm doing it in person, each kid gets their page, they write their name, something new they want to try, draw a picture. You know, right now, obviously with social distancing, sharing stuff is a little bit more challenging, but my kids have always loved to look through the class books. So maybe you do a couple of class books, right? And a couple of kids get, you know, a quarter of the class or half the class, and then you let the book air out, and then some other kids get it. They just love to read each other's writing and look at each other's work. So this is a super fun activity that's great for the new year, and also just helps build that sense of classroom community. Even if you're teaching remotely, they can all look at each other's work, which is really special. You know, that kind of thing that we like to do when we're in a normal school year teaching in person. All right, so let's see. So we covered the level books. Of course, you get 3 of those, and the lesson plans. We covered 4 different centers activities on different skills. And now what I want to do is I want to actually change my screen share, because I want to show you inside the Kindergarten Literacy Club, and I want to show you the digital bonuses, because a lot of this stuff, yes, it's like hard copies, but I also decided, because of the global crisis, to add additional digital activities just as a gift to you for free for my Literacy Club members. And so I'm going to show you the login, and I also want to show you what those digital activities look like. So let me click around here and see if I can get it. Got some other kindergarten teachers, first grade, K-2 reading, awesome, Barbara. Okay, you guys should be able to see this, right? Kindergarten Literacy Club. All right, so this is what the login area looks like, and on the first of each month, you just get an email that says, hey, your new monthly materials are ready. You go into the club, and they're there, and you don't have to download them by a certain time, because as long as you're a member, this is all there waiting for you. So whether you're logging in at home, at school, there's no losing the files, because it's here in your login. So January 21 materials is what I was just showing you. So I showed you this. We also have like a digital version of the little books. So let me see if that works. Yeah. So this is just a PDF in case this is something that you want to send families. You're welcome to send families this if you're teaching remotely, or you need to just send a file for some reason. So that's there. And you kind of saw the books already. And then I showed you the centers. The webinar, so every single month I have a Kindergarten Literacy Club webinar, and I love these because kindergarten is so unique. And when I do a webinar for like K-2, which I love doing those, but kindergarten has its own little, you know, quirks and needs, and I love kindergarten. So we have our own, toward the beginning of each month, we have like a private Kindergarten Literacy Club webinar, and that's a time for, yes, professional development, but also just for asking questions and getting feedback from me and other kindergarten teachers, really about anything teaching related. So we had our January webinar. I am doing a little bonus next week, a little bonus welcome session for our new members and anybody who's been a member. But if you missed the January webinar, not to worry, the recording is here. That's the nice thing about being a Literacy Club member, is that all the recordings go here in your login. You can watch them, listen to them whenever you want to. So let me show you the digital bonuses real quick. You download this and it gives you access to 3 digital activity sets. Let me show you an example of what one looks like. Welcome, Elizabeth. Lori says I teach first, have lots of kindergarten kiddos. Awesome. Okay, so this is an example of one of the 3 digital activities that my club members are getting for free right now, just because of, pandemic stuff. And so in this one, they're on different skills. One's on listening comprehension, one is like CVC sentences, and in this one, there's audio and it directs the kids to choose things in the picture that start with that sound. So let's click on this one. Find all the things in this room that start with the sound B. Okay, so it just said, if you couldn't hear that, it says, find all the things in this room that start with the sound B. Okay, so basketball, box, I think that's it. Whoops. Ooh, it tells me that I did something wrong. So what did I miss? Boy, maybe? There we go. So it tells the kids if they're wrong, which is super helpful. I do love the fact that it gives them feedback. Otherwise they are, guessing whether they got it wrong or not. And then if you happen to have the Boom Learning account, which it's free, you don't have to have it. But if you do happen to have it, you actually see how the kids did. So this is how they're set up. They all have audio where I'll read the kids the directions because obviously a lot of kinders can't read. So that's how the bonuses are set up. You get 3 of those. Again, listening comprehension and CVC sentences are the other one. And then this one was for letter sounds, just to try to give you a variety of skills. All right. Love it, Elizabeth. Growth mindset. Yes. Amazing. Ice fishing, that's so cute. I love that. I love incorporating their real life experiences. Are you able to do a dramatic play right now, Elizabeth? Just curious. Elizabeth says, are your Literacy Club products ever related to trade books? Not usually, Elizabeth, there's actually 2 Elizabeths here. Usually they're not, simply because not all teachers have access to the book, and my goal here is to make this stuff accessible and not make you have to go out and buy or search for other stuff. So no, however, could you relate them to different things? Yeah, this could be related to Snowy Day, Ezra Jack Keats, right? About getting dressed up and going out to play in the snow. So let's see. We do have in the club, though, speaking of trade books, I have this really big list of some of my favorite books for kindergarten. I just clicked on here, Literacy Essentials, in the club area, and this has suggested apps for kindergarten, apps that I love, different assessments. I created a lot of basic literacy assessments, phonological awareness, your basic letter sounds, things like that, phonics assessment, and then a suggested book list. Sometimes I find that when I'm looking for book lists online, certain books are just not great for kindergarten because they're too wordy. Of course, it's not a bad thing to expose them to those higher texts, but in this little document here, I just have some of my favorite books, and they're themed. These are holiday books, these are family books, these are emotions, feelings, just again to save you time, because really everything that I put in the literacy clubs is about saving you time. So let's see what we've got else in here. We got like a scope of sequence. I've got writing paper for you in there. PD webinars. I mentioned that we have one every single month, but there's also additional ones, like for the kindergarten club, teaching guided reading in kindergarten, how to launch and structure literacy centers in kindergarten, really kindergarten specific stuff. And this you can watch anytime. And I also have certificates for you and the slides that you can download. So that again is waiting for you whenever you want to watch them. No pressure, they don't expire. Oh, Elizabeth, that's nice. That's nice that you're in that situation, for sure. All right, let's see. What else do we have that I want to show you? We also have Intervention Central. So sometimes you may have a child or a group of kids that are struggling with something specific, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do to help them? What am I going to do to support them? So the If Then Intervention Toolkit is all about that. It kind of outlines for you, like, if a student struggles with rhyming, then try this. If they struggle with blending sounds, then try this. If they struggle with, we've got a bunch of different like reading and reading comprehension ideas, vocabulary knowledge, behavior stuff, writing intervention. So it just kind of guides you and gives you ideas. It may even be stuff that you know already, but you just didn't think of it and you need a reminder, or it may be a new idea. It may have a little resource for you. There's lots of goodies in here. In addition to the intervention toolkit in here, and actually looking at my time, I'm going to be pulling the gift card winner super soon. So make sure that you get your comment in if you have not gotten it in yet. But anyway, we have all kinds of other goodies too. So stuff for blending and segmenting sounds. We actually just did a webinar about this where I was showing some different suggestions. Let me know in the comments if you are working on blending and segmenting with your kinder kiddos right now, or maybe even your first and second grade kiddos. These are kind of funny looking, but in that webinar you can go and watch and see how I use them. These are all tools that have helped my students learn to blend and segment. So all kinds of different tools in there. And all of this comes from my experience as a reading specialist, because yes, I did used to teach kindergarten, but I'm also a reading specialist, and I've worked with so many kids and just found that like this one little thing works for this kid, or this one thing works for this group of kiddos. So I've incorporated my experiences and the things that I've experimented with and developed for my own students into Intervention Central. So this is definitely one of my favorite parts of the club. So we have rhyming interventions, letter sounds, isolating sounds, high frequency words. And at the beginning of each little intervention piece, I also include the research behind what we're doing here. So, if anybody's ever asking like, hey, are you, using research-based interventions, the stuff that is included here, I included the research explanation for you. Awesome. We've got Sue, reading resource. Darlene, lots of sound boxes. Kara says, love these blending ideas. They really help my students. Awesome. So glad to hear it. All right, let's see. Is there anything else I want to show you? I showed you Intervention Central. Oh, we do have some remote teaching resources, just resources for teachers, digital versions of assessments, anybody teaching remotely and needs assessments. These are set up as like PowerPoint versions, so you can just easily assess the kids without having to zoom in or really adapt your assessments. Love it, Jill. Thanks for joining me. Hey, Lori. Awesome. Lori says, yes, working on blending and segmenting. Super. So the digital assessments are in there, some stuff for parents. Oh, let me know in the comments if you have had any issues, if you're teaching remotely or taught remotely, with parents maybe wanting to help too much with writing. That has definitely been an issue for a lot of club members. And so because of that, I created this video that explains to parents how to really support their writers. I did one for the first and second grade club as well, but that's something that's really tricky to communicate sometimes, because yes, the parents want to help and they want their kids to be successful, which is amazing, but from our point of view, we want to let the kids experiment and do what they can do, and we also need to see what they can do. And so these YouTube videos I made for our club members, and you can share that with parents to help them understand like what is the expectation and what is kindergarten appropriate writing, or what is first and second grade appropriate writing. Julia, amazing, so exciting. Lori says doing all the spelling for them. Terry Ann says definitely, yes, that has been a challenge. So there's some other remote teaching goodies in there. Obviously it's not back to school time, although maybe for some of my Australian friends, there's back to school stuff in there. I'm just always trying to add little things that will make your life easier, tools that I use. The most recent addition was this little gift. If you happen to attend my webinars, my free webinars this past week, I talked about how I stay organized and like get ready for the week. I talked about my power planning routine and what I do, and so I gave you a little template there. This is just something that really helps me stay calm and organized throughout the week. I've always had a planner and thought I was organized, but this has made a big difference. Let's see. We've got classroom newsletter templates for print copies and digital classroom organization forms. Again, I'm just trying to load this up with goodies and things to make your life easier. All right, so I think that's all that I wanted to show you inside the kindergarten club. All of this stuff is waiting for you immediately when you join. Like all this stuff on the side that I'm showing you, it's there. And again, what you get every single month is you are going to get like the 3 books. You're going to get the 4 centers. You're going to get the webinar, the digital bonuses for this school year. So you're getting all this stuff new every single month. You are building your toolbox, right? And so of course use them in January, but then come back again and use them later, right? It's just building your resource toolbox. All right, let us go ahead and pull a gift card winner. I think this is maybe Stacy. How can I differentiate writing for K in first grade? All my first graders are ELL. That is such a great question. So I actually have on my blog a post. So if you go to learningattheprimarypond.com, search for dual language writing, and that will probably have some tips for you, the post that comes up. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's something with how to teach writing to dual language students, and that might be helpful for you. Awesome. Terry Ann says, I love being a member. Thank you. Amazing. All right, let's go ahead and pull our gift card winner, and then I'm going to move on and shift to our first and second grade club materials. Oh, Megan, that is such a good question. We do have some teachers who are in that situation. Just what if you have a range from K3 in your room? It kind of depends where most of your kids are. My instinct would be the first and second club, but I do, if you have kindergartners, like this is the really kindergarten friendly stuff. So there is an option where you can join both, but not pay the full price for both. If you go to that link that I think hopefully posted with this video, there should be a page that lets you click kinder, first and second, and then K2, and click the K2 option and check that one out, just because first and second might cover it, but just thinking about how kinders are so unique, it might be better to get both. So let me know what you think about that. You are so welcome, Jill. Thanks for all your support. All right, let's do our gift card giveaway, and then we'll move on to first and second. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll and randomly pick somebody. The gift card is going to be from Target, and what I will need for you to do if you're a winner is just email me. My email address is Allison with 1 L at learningattheprimarypond.com, and just say I won the Target gift card. However, if you don't have a Target by you or you can't shop at Target, I know like some Canadian teachers don't have Target, let me know and we'll do something else. All right, my winner is Elizabeth. I landed on you, Elizabeth, and now there's a couple of Elizabeth, so hopefully I'm saying your last name correctly, but Elizabeth Beattie, Beattie. Elizabeth, make sure to email me and I will get that gift card to you. If you can't use Target, no worries, we'll come up with something else that will be helpful to you. All right, let's switch back. Let's see if I can do this correctly, to the document camera, because I do want to show you the first and second grade stuff. We are now moving toward the first and second grade literacy club materials. Again, the same overall purpose with the first and second grade literacy club, but the materials are a little bit different simply because the kids are a little bit older, right? Okay, so the basis of the new stuff that you get every single month as a first and second grade literacy club member, a big part of that is the texts, okay? So you get 4 fiction and 4 nonfiction texts. They're leveled. We also try to control for phonics as much as possible because I know everybody's phonics program is different. But basically, so like this is Who Hibernates. This is the nonfiction from January, and then it has the same title, right? But it's a little bit harder. And then we have a little bit harder, excuse me. And then we have the hardest level, okay? So same topic, which is great for, getting the kids to all discuss one topic, but the passages are at different levels. And what we try to do is hit a low first grade, on level first grade, which both of those can work for the lower second grade students. And then we also hit an on level second grade and above level second. So you really do get access to a lot of different levels, and that's why I decided to combine the first and second grade literacy clubs. Let me know in the chat if you teach first or second grade, like what level ranges are your students, because in my own experience and from a lot of teachers that I've heard from, they really do have a big range. I've heard from like level A to level P on the Fountas and Pinnell levels. Some teachers just, some years you just have that range. And so these passages can support that. Just like nonfiction, you also get a set of, this is every single month, a set of 4 fiction passages. So we're doing like themes now where this is hibernation, and then Get Set Chipmunk is a little story, but it also references hibernation. So everything's kind of not themed in the sense that like you have to match them to your classroom theme that you're working on, but themed in the sense that like the passages are related to each other. And then there's some other independent activities that I'll show you in a bit that also have to do with this little kind of theme. But again, it doesn't have to match your specific theme. Okay, so Megan says, are the text leveled by Lexile? They are leveled by guided reading or Fountas and Pinnell levels. However, I can get you a leveling correlation chart to help with that. No problem there. Lori says first grade, levels A through K. Shantae says pre-A through K at the moment. That is such a big range. Shantae, you teach, remind me, it's first grade, right? Could be wrong about that, but that is what I think I remember. So you might, yeah, Lindsay says B through N. Such a big range. Such a big range. One of the joys and challenges of being a teacher. So you might also have noticed here that there are QR codes. I have someone, once the passages are done, she does a voice recording of the text, right? So the kids can either scan it or I give you a link that they can go to and they can listen to the text being read aloud, which is great, especially for kids that need to increase their fluency or their lower readers. So on that topic, let's talk for if you are a first and second grade club member, or if you become a first and second grade club member, or even if you don't, just in general. It is so valuable for kids to read along with an expert reader. And that expert reader could be a higher student, it could be you, it could be a parent, but it can also be this audio recording. So what I like to do is not just use a text one time. We may do it in small group, or this could even be used shared reading for whole group if that's what you would like to do. But then the kids can go back and they can either reread it themselves to improve their fluency, but they can also, read along with the recording, and that helps improve their fluency as well. Awesome. Sarah says teach kindergarten with some at first grade reading level. You got some high flyers. Rachel also has a big range, A through P. That can be hard to manage. These passages can help with that. Now, will the passages cover every single level? No, because some first and second grade teachers, like we're seeing, A through N. But in the club login, I'll point this out to you later, there's a whole video where I show you how to use a passage with a group of kids or a child that's not exactly at that level. And a lot of it comes down to doing some pre-teaching. So on each passage, I will kind of show you, hey, these are the words that are probably not going to be decodable. So before you read the passage, you can talk about what they mean. You can have the kids highlight or underline them in the text, and then they are able to tackle the passage even if it's a little bit challenging for them. Another thing that you can do, just a tip, sorry, it's kind of out of focus, just in general, if you're working with a group of kids and the text is a little hard, you could do a choral read first where you and the kids read the whole thing and then they go read by themselves. That can work for remote teaching also. Or you could maybe choral read the first couple of lines and then the kids finish the passage on their own. There's different scaffolds that you can give them because it's not a bad thing to give kids hard text when you're there to support them, right? When you're pre-teaching the vocabulary or the words that are not decodable for them. When you're maybe doing a little choral read or an echo read, you can use the passages, even if that group of kids is not spot on, you can challenge them and you can do, create scaffolds, and this video will cover all of it inside the club that I'll show you, but create scaffolds so that they can be successful. But you do, of course, have multiple levels, so hopefully we're getting close to at least some of your kiddos. Amazing, Michelle. I know you've been one of our longtime members. Michelle says, been a KLC member for 2 years, just joined for first and second. Awesome. So excited to have you in both clubs now. All right, so these are the passages. This is the audio stuff. You also do get lesson plans to go with them. So there's like a running record, there's questions, just all kind of resources to help you teach this, whether you use it in a small group setting or if you do some kind of shared reading, however you want to teach it. All right, so in addition to the passages, there's also activities to go along with them or just to be independent activities as well. Coming back to that idea of, the things that I personally was always looking for, independent activities, centers, daily 5, whatever. So these writing activities are leveled and they go with the passages. So here's just one little example that I pulled to show you. What I like to do is take a skill and then challenge the kids to work on the skill, but at different levels. So, sorry. So this writing activity is really kind of getting at main idea and details, which can be challenging for kids. And so here's there's actually 4 different versions of this writing task for your different levels of kids, but what is the topic of this text? Give one detail about the topic. So this text is about, it should have been hibernation, right? I learned some animals nap for a long time, right? One detail from the text. So now we're going to up the ante a little bit and make it more challenging. What is the main idea of this text? How do you know? Obviously there's a difference, right, between this and this, but this one is building the kids to eventually, hopefully, be able to write about main idea. But because you have different levels of students in your class, you know, just by the nature, that's the way it is. I'm giving you different levels of the writing assignment so that you can match it appropriately to your students. So you get multiple writing activities each month. They're ready to go. And I printed out the ones that have the sentence starters, but they also include ones that don't have sentence starters. So for your kids that need it, use it. For your kids that don't, you don't have to print out this one. You can do the one without sentence starters. There's also a bunch of independent activities at different levels. So this is a little cute one. Again, it goes along with the little hibernation chipmunk theme. This is an activity for some of your higher kiddos that are ready to break words up into syllables. So they trace this one, winter, gather. As you can see, this stuff, again, is designed to be social distancing friendly because, you know, everybody's kind of in a different situation right now. And so eventually we will get back to the fun partner stuff and the more interactive stuff, but I'm trying to make it as fun and engaging as possible, even if you're having to send home packets or, you know, you're doing socially distanced, whatever you're doing. This is designed to be flexible and work for you. So that's one example of an activity. Another one is this little dice roll. If your kids are at home and they don't have a die, there's actually online dice rollers that they can do. But for this one, for example, and this die thing, this dice game is something that you can adapt and use in a variety of ways. But with this one, we're working on words that end with S and ing. And again, these activities do cover different skills because I know not everybody's working on the same thing. Amber says, teach 2nd grade, but have a variety of readers. Yes. I don't think I've ever had a class that just had, you know, a small range. All right, so here's what they do. The kids will roll a die, or the child, because they're working alone, unless you can't have them work with a partner. And then they will write the word jumps. If they roll a 1, they'll write jumps, and then they'll write jumping. So they are taking the base word and adding S and adding ing. So then they'll roll again. Maybe they got a 5. Plays, playing. Right? So very simple. Still turns it into a little game, but socially distanced. All right, so the last little thing I want to show you here before I show you the login is these vocabulary crossword puzzles. So again, with the purpose of making them social distancing friendly, there's different levels of the vocabulary puzzles, and they have to do with the passages that, you know, the kids are getting in the club. And so we have one with pictures, and we have one here, and then we have more challenging words. So again, these activities are leveled because I know that your kiddos are not at the same level. They're also flexible because we have teachers in the club that are teaching in person. We have teachers that are teaching remotely. We have teachers that are teaching some of both. So right now they really are designed to be flexible and give you those options because some schools are going back and forth and they don't even have a consistent, you know, week to week type thing. All right, so now let's look at the inside of, where did it go? Oh, close a bunch of windows. Now we will look at the inside of the 1st and 2nd grade literacy club. So this is what your login looks like, just like with the kindergarten club. If you saw that part, you can access this from anywhere and the stuff is here and you don't have to worry about downloading it or losing it. Of course, download it and use it, right? But you can log in from school, from home, wherever. And so, let's see. Here are your January materials. Okay. And so for the 1st and 2nd grade club, we did a webinar that was just for our club members on teaching nonfiction comprehension strategies. that's done. We're gonna have a special little webinar next month, or not next month, next week, and then we'll have a different topic. February is all about mentor text. So kindergarten club members, first and second grade club members, you will be talking about mentor text. I'll be sharing some of my favorites with you, so I'm super looking forward to that. But you can log in and watch this webinar whenever, wherever you want. You get a little certificate too, because I know some of us have to keep up with our ongoing credits, so you always get one of those. Passages and activities. Here is all the stuff that I was showing you. There's even more than the hard copies. And so here are the audio URLs that I mentioned where you can have the kids listen to the passage. That's a biggie. Table of contents. And then here are the digital bonuses. So I did not mention this yet, but for each one of these 8 passages, because of what's going on right now, we have a digital version of the passage. You can, of course, just send them the PDF. But this digital version, I actually introduced the text as if I were, doing a small group with my students. So this little audio, I'll turn on and see if you can hear it.
This passage is called Who Hibernates? You might already know that hibernating is something.
So it goes on, the kids are supposed to read the text online, and then they're actually answering questions from the passage. So this would be for a lower group, and it will, not lower, but on level first grade groups, it'll read it to them.
What does hibernate mean?
They have to pick the correct answer, okay? And there's other little like word work activities and things like that. So they're building words. And so if you happen to be teaching remotely, of course, you can just send them the PDFs of the passage. Those are included separately, like one in each. You can also send them this so that they can still read the passage and then they can do these little activities. And the lovely thing about Boom Learning is that it can be played on any device and they will get the feedback. So this is all free that I included because of what's going on in the world. And every single one of the 8 passages has one of these. I'm just showing you one, but there's 8 total. All right, let's see. So we talked about those materials. Now I'm going to show you just a couple of the other goodies. If you were here for the kindergarten club resources, some of them are the same but more tailored toward first and second grade. We got some scope and sequence, phonics scope and sequence, just again various goodies to save you time. There's additional webinars that are specific to first and second grade. The webinar that I taught this week that was just free to everybody, I included in there as well. So if you missed it, you can watch this, and this will have some of my favorite strategies for staying organized and just getting some work-life balance back. So Take Back Your Time, K-2 Teachers, is in there. You can watch it whenever you like. As a club member, it's always there for you. Intervention Central. So this is same for the Kindergarten Literacy Club, but this is more toward first and second grade students. So if you've got students, for example, that are struggling with comprehension and vocabulary, these are some, I have the research here that supports what we're doing. And then it's like a lesson plan structure that you can use repeatedly. There's some different, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. There's some different bookmarks for the kids, but also for you, just to help as you're teaching these different skills. These are printable bookmarks, just all kinds of stuff so to support them with vocabulary and comprehension. Also in Intervention Central, stuff for fluency and high frequency words. So repeated readings is something that's amazing for fluency. We talked about that with the passages and this whole little protocol. When life is back to normal, fluency repeated readings is something that I highly recommend that you do or you have your kids do with volunteers. It makes such a difference for those kiddos that are a little bit low with their reading. So that might be something that you have to save for another school year. But again, as a club member, it is there for you. You can download it and keep it too. So we got fluency covered in Intervention Central, phonics and decoding. There is this assessment in there, and this might be helpful to you depending on where you're at with this right now. It's in the file called Phonics Practice Protocol. And let's see. So we got the research there. And this will help you pinpoint exactly what phonics skills your kids need to work on. There's also a digital friendly version too, because it consists of like some nonsense word reading, which really drills down and helps you see like what they need to work on. And then there's also a spelling inventory. And so it tells you exactly, like, if they get this wrong, this is what they need to work on. So that has definitely been a favorite resource of a lot of our first and second grade literacy club members. And this file that I was showing you is called the Phonics Practice Protocol. Because in that file, there's the assessment, and then there's also like this outline for you to continually practice these different patterns with your kids. So it's an assessment and an intervention. Another favorite has been these Say, Tap, Write phonics strips. And these are printable, but you can still use them for remote instruction. I'll show you in a moment if they want to download. Yeah, Jenny, so no worries if you missed it. Jenny says, I teach kindergarten but missed the kindergarten part. As long as everything goes as planned, this should be posted to my Facebook page, Learning at the Primary Pond, so you can rewatch. You can go back and rewatch. So no worries. All right, so these have been a favorite. I know that it's sideways, but basically imagine it rotated and the kids say the name of the picture, so map. Then they segment, app, and then they write, app. What this does is it slows down the process of kids who are wanting to rush and accidentally leaving out sounds. So they're saying, they're tapping, and they're writing. Now, if you happen to be teaching remotely, no worries. All you need to do is take a screenshot of this page, rotate it, and like paste it on a Google slide. Super simple. Obviously, it's not going to have the same, like, I guess they can touch their screen, right? Not going to be quite the same as if it were in person, but it still has that effect of slowing down what they're doing. And these are, I think, like digraphs, so chop, chop, and I tell you what all the pictures are. Got blends. I like to use this little slidey thing to indicate that sounds get blended together. They're separate boxes because blends are made up of two individual sounds. They get blended together. So there's all kinds of skills. It's not just CVC words. Silent D. I think I have some vowel teams in there, R-controlled vowels, so all kinds of stuff. This is great for those kiddos who need a little extra phonics boost. Honestly, most kids can benefit from like one of the levels here. If you want to learn how to teach your kids to break words up into syllables, there's something there. So there is, sometimes I even forget how much there is in here. There's stuff for phonological awareness. This is an intervention central that I'm looking at here, and this is great for when you're like, I need to work with my kids on this skill, or a group of kids, or one child. You go in there, match to what you want to work on, and then you have stuff. Remote teaching resources. This is anything from like assessments that are like in a Google Slides or PowerPoint friendly so you can project them, different teaching tools, parent resources like a parent video to explain to parents how to support their kids with writing without doing everything for them, because that has been an issue with a lot of club members. So I actually made this video where I explained like, hey, this is what first and second grade writing should look like. This is what to expect. This is how to help your kids without doing it for them. And it also explains the importance of having the teacher actually see the student's real writing, because we need to see what they're doing in order to really help them. All right, last little thing here, organization tools, everything from classroom newsletter templates to a little weekly planner, organization forms. Again, I just try to load up the clubs with goodies to help save you time. This I will show you just because I think it's helpful. I use it personally too. So the longer you're a member, like if you join in January, you just start with the January materials. But like in this sample account, this person has been a member since July. And so as time goes on, you sort of build up different passages, different activities. And part of what I found that I waste time on personally is like, I need to work on this. And where is something on my computer that I can use for it, right? So I end up wasting some time doing that. But what this allows you to see is, oh, I need a passage at level DE. Here's one. I need to work on CVC words. Here's this. So if you're a member, don't forget about this little list of passages and activities thing, because this will allow you, as the longer you're a member, to quickly and easily find what you're looking for. All right, I think that's all I wanted to cover. If you become a kindergarten literacy club or first and second grade literacy club member, make sure that you join the private Facebook groups. Those are different from my free Facebook group. I'm in the first and second grade literacy club and kinder literacy club more often to support you. So make sure that you join those I guess if you're watching this, you use Facebook. But I think that's it. So clubs are open through January 29th. I only open them up twice a year because of the amount of prep work that it takes. So they will not be open again until July 2021. So just keep that in mind. I included the links, but it's kindergartenliteracyclub.com or first and second grade literacy club. If you have a question, if you're not quite sure if it's a good fit, feel free to let me know. Hopefully this video was helpful to you in seeing if it would be a good fit, if this stuff would help save you time or not. But feel free to ask a question. If you're still not sure, happy to answer you. Thanks so much for watching. Congrats again to our gift card winner, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.